right. Welcome, ladies who are tuning in to our How to Lead Circle Q&A call. I am so excited. I'm Tanya Lim. For those of you who do not know me, I'm first going to share a little bit about what How to Lead Circle is for women who are like, well, what is this? Why are we here? How to Lead Circle is our flagship program at Sistership Circle. It's our 12-week facilitator training, our level 1 certification, and we take you through the process of going through our 12-week circle program, as well as teach you how to facilitate. It has everything from video modules and live circle calls, and you are going to hear exactly what these women have received from it. So first we're going to go around and just share one by one, 2 minutes, what this experience was like for you. And specifically, what was your biggest takeaway from the program? And what I would love is making this as personal as possible, right? So, you might hear something from someone else, and instead of saying, oh yeah, I got that as well, what was the specific thing that you walked away with, so that we can really hear the diversity of takeaways, if that makes sense, right? All right, I am going to ask whoever would like to go first, who'd like to dive in. Stacy, all right.
Since I have to leave, I will be happy to dive in.
Okay. So we'll go Alice first and then Stacy. Awesome.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry, Stacy.
Okay.
I don't see Stacy. Okay. So I'm Alice Rost, and I completed How to Lead a Circle a couple of months ago, and I've actually started my own circle. And what I took from the circle, which was the surprise for me, was how, oh my God, I'm feeling emotional, how much in my heart the people on those calls are. And seeing you today has really made me feel very emotional. Part of my my question about how to lead a circle and being in circles was, especially on Zoom, which my circle was on Zoom. So these are people I'm never going to see again, I'm never going to talk to again, and I felt queasy about that. And what I've learned is that these people are in my heart, and it's made my heart bigger. So even though Christina is in Canada, and I probably will never see her again, I have in my heart too much, because that was her, one of the last things she said. I'm so tired of being two. And I realized I'm so tired of being two as well. So,
if you can,
and the other thing that I took away that's just very, very personal is that the people who I see on that screen, there were about 13 of us, the people who are loudest to me are the people who were the most on the calls. So that's a lesson that needs to keep being repeated for me, because being vulnerable is scary, but being vulnerable is what makes people love you and makes you love people. So I think those were the two big personal takeaways, that connectedness does not mean that you meet somebody for lunch every month. Connectedness is what's in your heart. And the other thing was that the structure of the circle is just brilliant. And so for anybody who questions their leadership or questions their creativity or questions how far their imagination can take them, the structure of the circle is so perfect that it doesn't take a whole lot to plug in your originality or your passions. And that was very revealing. In terms of conducting my circle, I think the biggest surprise for me was that things don't always go the way I planned them. Mm-hmm. And I'm able to actually go with that. It's a hard thing for me. I have my plan and I want to I want to keep it going that way. And it never works quite that way. And so I've relaxed into it, in a major way. So I think that's about it.
Thank you, Alice. Be mean you.
Thank you.
Stacy.
Hi, I'm Stacy, and so I went into Circle and Tanya's group like in 2014, I think, and then and that's when I first started my like coaching journey and really connecting with other women for the first time, and it was a really great experience. Like I never experienced that before. Even though it felt kind of like awkward and strange to not get any validation or feedback. And I felt like that was actually the part that was most valuable. And because I just started my coaching journey, I did my coaching certification, and then I kind of moved to different circles. I did different programs. I don't even know how much I've done. I've done so many programs, and I kept following Tanya. And at certain times I opted into some of the, how to lead circle. Like she had some videos, and I got scared. And so I just like didn't do it. And then after I went through all of that, this past year, I was like, oh, it just kept coming back to me about the circles, how it's just so valuable to be able to speak your truth, your story, and not be getting advice or people just talking to you, because it's hard to explain, but it's just like that. This model is just so much more powerful because, like, you can just feel the love and being able to reflect on myself. And so I feel like this model of circles for women is so much needed because we haven't really, not everyone, but in general, women, we've been so much of like people pleasers and doing things for other people so much that we're always like responding to other people and so instead of to ourselves. And I think that in Circle, that's what we learn to do, is to be vulnerable and then to just respond to ourselves. And being in Circle also has really, like, so I did my first circle, in-person circle, right after the program. And I feel that being in Circle had supported me to actually be able to invite women into an in-person circle. And when I did as I did my circle and through this whole like program, it really sunk in, just like calling in the women. It wasn't like getting women. It's like calling who would come to my circle and trusting that would be right. And I mean, it was just amazing. And there was still a little bit of fear, but I realized that those women, I was like, why am I afraid? These are people I know. These are people that are my friends that care about me. Like, why am I afraid? And so I realized then, like, that fear was just really everything outside of me and not really in the moment. And I realized also that, trusting myself and being vulnerable among other women in the circle, it actually helped me to trust myself.
Awesome.
And that it really the aha moment for me was just like doing the circle and being like, you know what? I got this. I don't know. Like, I've been working towards this all my life. Why am I like overthinking? Just be myself. That's the work, is like where you are at the moment. That everything that led up to that moment is the work. And I've been doing that, and that's my value. And that's everyone's value as a woman. It's where you are at the moment. Like, if you look back, oh my gosh, you've been through so much. And where you are right now, I mean, that is valuable no matter where you are for each woman. And that's kind of like my passion for leading circles and continuing.
Awesome. Amy and you. Thank you, Stacy. Everyone who's not speaking, let's make sure we're on mute so that we don't have any like little background noises going on. And I'm going to actually time us so that we make sure we're having everyone have a chance to share. So who'd like to go next?
I'll go next.
All right, Larissa.
Yes. Hello, beautiful sisters. So good to see everybody here today. And I've done the How to Lead Circle training, and I'm also in the facilitator tribe now, which is great. And I think that for me, through the How to Lead Circle process, really increased my self-esteem. And part of that is Tanya's way of letting people know that you can just show up how you are. You don't have to be perfect. Everything doesn't have to be just so. And so that, that kind of thing leads to self-acceptance. Just feeling it's okay to be messy and not do things the way you would like them to go, perhaps. But also, we had the opportunity to lead a circle with a partner. And my partner was Maria, who's in Australia. And we just worked so well together. And we just supported each other. And I really felt like all the women who were there present for our circle just had our back. They were just wanting us to succeed. And it was a really great experience. And then the second part B of this is when I led my first circle in my community, and I actually invited a small group of friends to come over. And these were women with whom I already had a circle going, meaning we had a circle, we had our own structure, which was different from sistership. It was more we would just get together and each woman would have the opportunity to speak. And there would be some crosstalk and whatnot. So it was a different kind of thing. So I knew that these women were coming to support me for my first circle, but they wouldn't probably be coming to further circles down the road. And after the circle, I went into the bathroom, and one of my friends had left $40 on the counter. And I hadn't asked, I hadn't even talked about donations or payment or anything like that. And it was just like really moving. It was like somebody saying, yeah, this is really of value, So a lot of different kinds of moments. And my self-esteem continues to increase as I do more circles. So thank you.
Wow. Goosebumps. Thank you. All right. Who'd like to go next? Christine?
I'll go next.
All right.
The guy's going to show up any moment, so hopefully I can get through my 2 minutes. I'm going to go teary already. So for me, How to Lead Circle was one of the most profound experiences that I've ever had. And for anyone wondering, is it worth the monetary investment? It is beyond the monetary investment. What the return that you get back is priceless. And it just kind of, it's the gift that just kind of keeps giving and giving and giving and giving. Especially because Tanya herself is just so generous in providing other opportunities and, business building, and there's nothing like it. Excuse me, Gloria. And so for me, one of the biggest takeaways, one of the biggest transformational shifts that I had through taking the program was around discovering that, after 40-some years of abuse and working on healing the masculine, that it was really the wound around sisters and sistership that was the deepest wound that I was carrying and had been carrying, up to that point. And that wound was actually showing up in my personal relationships and my professional relationships, and how I would, feel about, my clients. And having that understanding and then being able to begin to work on it and to do that within the container of the sacred space of all of these beautiful women, a lot of who, I see their faces today, it changed my life. So you ladies changed my life. Because you allowed me, we've talked about being vulnerable, but it allowed me to really be vulnerable, and to be vulnerable fully with other women, in a way where I was sharing myself, my light, my shadow, and understanding that by allowing myself to be that authentically vulnerable with each of you was actually where true safety and peace of mind and spirit for me lied. And that deepening of that relationship that I began to have with all of you, and that feeling of love, like I've never felt that kind of love for another being, other than, my children, my grandchildren. But even then, it's different. There's a quality to it that's different. And that has allowed me to really understand the importance of circle, what is possible with sister circles, right? Not just with circles in general, but with sister circles, and with the sistership circle model. It's helped me to really experience it, to embody it, so that for the first time, I can now go out and I can confidently talk about what circle is and what circle does, because I know it. I just don't know it here. I know it here. I know it in my womb space. I know it in my soul. I know it in every cell of my body. And that's priceless. So,
Thank you.
For someone who struggled for so many years, when someone says, what do you do? What will it do for me? That is priceless. So, yeah.
Breathe. Thank you, Christine. Thank you. All right.
I can go next.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good. So I can't see me, but let them go.
Yeah. So hi, my name is Morgan. I am, I'm a recent graduate of Tanya's last How to Lead Circle program, and it was just an amazing experience for me because I have had really difficult relationships with women my entire life. So I feel like How to Lead Circle really brought me to a space where I was able to really heal my sister wound and to really see women as these beautiful, divine, feminine creatures who were really there to hold space for you and who were there to just accept you and honor you in every single aspect of yourself. And I've literally never had that before. So jumping into How to Lead Circle and having this beautiful, amazing program just like fall into my lap. It was like, okay, here it goes. Like you're cracking yourself wide open. There's no stopping you now. And it was like so scary, but so safe at the same time. And it was like, I knew that I had all 12 of my sisters there every week, that I was like, yes, they're holding me. They got me. Like it was such an amazing experience. And like now I'm leading my own circles and doing online circles and connecting with women, and I'm not afraid. And I think that that's been my biggest aha moment with How to Lead Circle, is that I don't have to be afraid of women anymore, because now I've learned how to connect with myself in order to connect with others. So How to Lead Circle has just been an amazing experience for me. And I like thank my lucky stars and all of everything in this world for it, because it changed me. It brought me to really know who Morgan was and who Morgan wants to be when she shows up in this world. So yeah, I'm complete on that.
Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you.
I can go.
Okay, LaShonda, and then I think Ro wanted to go next. Okay, LaShonda.
My biggest aha was around connection. So I didn't realize, the word sister wound, it just didn't really mean anything to me. And as we got into the program and into it unfolding, I got it. Like I stay guarded and protected. And if you put me in a room full of women or around a lot of people, I just kind of shut down. I hide in the background. But Circle is just not designed to be that way. You don't get to hide out in Circle. It's a safe space to be vulnerable. And once you do it and there's no like repercussion for it, it's beautiful. Something really cracks open inside of you. You're like, I get it. I get it now. That was my sister wound, was around being seen and being vulnerable and not being seen as strong. And, you have all these shoulds, and I should be this and I should do that. But I could just leave all of that at the door when I came into Circle. We had one week where we just really all cracked open and went really deep. And it could have gone it could have gone bad or sad or crazy, but we all just kind of melted together and leaned in and supported each other. And it was a beautiful thing. I mean, it was just so beautiful. So, and the other piece of like the other nuance is this idea of connecting with people around the world, being online, and can you really connect that way? And we did. And that was a surprise to me, that it wasn't like watching something or watching a workshop or a webinar where you can just sit back and watch, or maybe one person's kind of taking over. It's a shared space and everyone is seen and heard and witnessed. And I feel like I've got besties all over the world. Like these women are really just amazing, amazing, amazing. So those are my two big ones. So I'm complete.
Thank you, LaShonda. Ro, I think you wanted to go next, yeah?
Yes, I can go. I don't think anybody can see me.
But we can hear you.
We can
But you
see
can hear me, right?
We can see your photo, Ro.
That's awesome. For some reason, my view cam doesn't want to work. Anyway, hello, ladies. Lovely to see you. And you know what? I love what everybody's saying, and I so agree with everything every one of you have said so far. So it's so amazing. But I'm going to say my biggest takeaway was really recognizing how quickly and how amazing the transformation and the results the women received during Circle. I mean, I'm a coach, and I've been doing workshops and trainings, and I know every time when I've done a workshop and we've done exercises, women get the best results. But in Circle, it's just magnify it, magnify it's like an acceleration. It's an acceleration because I think when we finally get to see the comfort that we're not alone, we no matter how strong you are on the outside, no matter how high achieving you are, no matter what you've achieved in life, We all have this stuff going on the inside, no matter what it is. But then in circle, you get to see that you're just like everyone else. You're in the same boat. We are that mirror image of one another. It's just so powerful. So, so powerful. And that was my biggest takeaway. And I've actually taken the course has been the best thing that I've done in my business, because I've changed my whole business because of it. I literally changed my entire business because of it. I'm now creating what I'm calling coaching circles and mentoring circles, where I do everything. Every class I teach is in a circle format, because that's how women learn. And that's how women want to connect. And we're community. We're built for community. We're born for community. So why not teach and train in community? So it's just been, and I'm getting goosebumps because I just love it, how it's changed the way I coach. And it's changed the way I mentor women, and it's changed the way I do my classes. And even if I'm doing a presentation for another group, I'm doing it in some format of a coaching circle. I'm a managing director for eWomen Network, and this next Wednesday, I'm going to be in front of 170 women at a luncheon. And you know what? I'm going to start with taking deep breaths. I'm going to start with doing like a little, let's meditate, let's clear your day, let's get grounded. And I would never had, even though I've taken a lot of risks in my life, that's what I do for a living, I don't think I would have ever really still had that conviction that I could do this in front of a room of 150 people, even when it's not a woo-woo event or a circle event or anything like that. Every time I've done that, there isn't one woman that, the majority of the women just love it. And we need to clear our minds before we can absorb whatever we're going to be receiving to take in. So I love that. It's been great for me. And if you're thinking about this, and if you're on if this is someone that's watching this and is just on that cusp, oh my God, just jump and go in. Both feet, and don't look back. So I think that's what I need to say.
Beaming you.
Thank you, ladies.
I feel like I want to shout that from the rooftops of, this is the new model of coaching. Like the whole coaching industry needs to hear that. So thank you, Ro. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
We got Helene and Jessica. Helene, you want to go next, and then Jess?
I can go next. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes. Excellent. So my story is a little different. I had been in a circle 10 years ago, and then I withdrew due to, a lot of backstabbing in women in general. And so I've been working for 10 years and just being with my regular friends and in my business. And then a year ago, my kids was reported to the police for doing drugs, and I realized I didn't have the support system I needed. I didn't have the ones that I needed. And I was remembering how much the women's circles actually meant to me when we weren't anywhere else but in circles. So I wanted to start to meet women in circle again, and only in circle. And I found this online thing to be scary, of course, but I realized that I needed it. And since I have been in circles for so long, I wanted to be able to create my own circle with the women I felt supportive to me. So that's when I enrolled in this class, and I didn't know how much it would actually mean to me, because it empowered me so much that I actually am starting a coaching business as well. I didn't think I would, and that was never my intention. I just wanted to be a little more structured within the circles. And the connection with the women just gave me so much empowerment, and I am now teaching others how to become empowered. And circle is so important because women are boosting each other in a way that no one else can, because we sit around thinking each in our bed. That's really empowering. So I really feel that the empowerment you get from other women, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it. I have a whole new bunch of friends and a new setup of friends. And I owe everything to Tanya, as I told you as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Helene. Beautiful. And we got Jess.
I can go next. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Everyone. I graduated from How to Lead Circle, I think like a year ago.
Yeah.
And my greatest takeaway was learning that my voice matters. Because I used to be like really shy and don't talk to anyone. Like I even had trouble calling by asking a pizza. Like I can do it through the internet so much better. Like it was really hard for me to express myself through my voice. And that has changed my life, like standing each week for 12 weeks and have a moment where everyone is listening to what I have to say and seeing me as I am. I even have chills right now because that has changed me so much. And the leadership, like you have to lead circle. We encourage you to lead the circle within the time of the program, and I led my first circle, and women came, and it was great. But like coming out of my comfort zone and stop identifying myself with I'm just here sitting, watching, like everyone else can do it, but I can't. Like coming out of that, like coming out of my shell has been such a powerful thing for me. And what I do now is like I carry that energy of connection with other women, with the women in my life, with my friends, with my mother, with my daughter, and I hold space for them. And I also allow myself to share my vulnerability with them, and I ask for help in my daily life because I'm a single mom and have a full-time job, and I need help. And I think that by opening up to them and ask them for help, they have responded back. And when they are vulnerable or in need, they come to me or to each other. And I think that the impact that a circle has to carry the power and the transformation into our everyday lives and into our relationships with our family, with our friends, with our community, because that's what we want, to make the world a better place, not only to work but to live. So, thank you.
Yeah, and thank you. I mean, look at the transformation. Here you are speaking your second language in front of all these people listening. It's amazing. I'm so proud of you, Jess. Thanks for that. So beautiful. Did we have anyone else, or was that everyone on the call?
I can go, Samantha.
Oh yeah, Samantha. Okay, I don't see you on my screen here. Okay, there you are. Awesome.
Hi everyone, this is Samantha. I am in circle space now, just listening to each of you share your experiences. I remember the time of being in circle, so centered in my heart, so centered in my body, so at ease and so connected. And that is one of my biggest takeaways. I had hosted Circle before, and they were to a large extent, quote unquote, successful, except that I didn't enjoy myself. And I realized that I come sort of from a history of
needing to be perfect, needing to perform. And I found that I was so anxious about the circles going well, so anxious about people getting value, that I just I dreaded the circle, and I was relieved when it was over. And so when the series ended, I had a circle, 5-7 years ago. I said, I'm not doing that again. And that was one of the things that caught my eye in How to Lead Circle was, are you overgiving? And I realized that I was. And the experience of being in Circle that everyone has spoken to, of relaxing into myself and trusting that I am enough, and trusting that the space we share together with the structure of the circle creates value for everyone. Just like that, it happens naturally within the structure, and that I didn't need to stress myself out. And it translated to the kind of circle that I led, because I had been thinking that in circle I had to teach, I had to share information, and I realized I could just ask a question and hold space, and that everybody's sharing would be, as it is now, the gift. And so that actual embodied experience is what I'm able now to give to my circles. And I restarted my circles, and I'm enjoying them so much. I'm not stressing at all. It's a totally different experience, and I want to do more. I am doing more. And the second big takeaway, people that I actually want to mention, I am a facilitator and a coach. I found the content in the videos extremely useful. I, like many of you, have taken different courses, but just the way Tanya, the information was presented in so concise, so actionable, so simple. It's still in my head of tips and tools and practices of what to do, what not to do. It's a treasure trove. Even that, the video part in itself is extremely useful. So I highly recommend this program.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is there anyone else that I can't see on our call right now who hasn't shared? I think we got everyone, right? That was 12. Amazing. Okay, so if anyone watching live has any questions, please type those in and we can answer them. But I have a couple questions. So what we're going to do for this next round of sharing is I'm going to ask a question, and whoever feels called to answer it can answer it. And we won't take more than 2 answers per question. So I want to ask first, if anyone started their very first circle before How to Lead Circle program ended, how many of you did that? If you want to raise your hand. I can't even see everyone. So I don't even know.
Just like one?
So what was the key to your success? I know Jess. Who else? What was the key to your success? What do you think that was for someone who started their very first circle during the program? What was that thing?
I think that it was not to think too much about it. Just go and do it. And don't doubt, if will people come or not. I had my plan for that first circle. If no one comes, I'll do my thing anyway, because I have the space, I pay for it, and I'll dance around if no one shows up. But of course, inviting your friends, people that you know that will support you because they already love you. And I think that for me, that was the key, have no expectations, do it and be open to the experience.
And you actually had women pay for that very first circle too.
Yes.
And how did that feel?
Amazing. I was so happy. getting money from something so cool. And as I do dance therapy too, I introduce like some exercises that I created especially for that moment. So it was amazing.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Amy, and you, Jess.
Thank you.
And anyone?
Hi.
Yeah.
This is Ro.
Go for it.
Yes, I not only did my first circle in the beginning of, I think after 1 or 2 sessions of How to Lead Circle, I did my first group circle program, 6-circle program before the program ended. And I just, you know what, my intuition was just screaming at me that this is so for me, and I just went with that flow and didn't question it and just went, you know what, it was just so loud and clear for me that I never questioned it, and I just went for it. So for me, it was a lot simpler but then I've been doing programs already too. So
yeah, for
me, I wasn't new to me holding the program. It was just the model that changed. Yeah. So that's what I did.
But I like that key of just going with the flow and feeling that intuitive hit of, yes, I want to do that, and not getting into your head about it, but just staying in your body and in the flow with it.
Yes.
That's the distinction. Great. Thank you. And anyone who started their first circle after the program, if you want to share what you think your key to success was. I think that was Stacy. Who else? Stacy, you want to share?
Yeah, I'll share. I think the key to my success was really that one video of, I guess I have this issue. I never realized that I had this issue with like space and like owning my own space, where you hold your hands out and just like own that space around you. Like that was just like, that video was just like that was like a big opening for me, because I never realized that I actually tend to hold myself like close to myself, and even my voice. I'm always like filtering my body by my voice. And that exercise in itself was like the biggest like aha moment of like, oh my gosh, like I can spread my arms out as much as I can, like, and it's okay. And I don't know where that comes. I mean, there's probably some history to that, but like leading circle is like that is the journey. Like that is the transformation that my soul is looking for. Like do it. And that's like this whole, like, that's what I love. It's like doing the circle and bringing in other women, not only just is for me, but for other women. And it's such a beneficial thing as you're going through like overcoming those fears. And so, awesome. I'm just realizing that, you know, being in circle and being vulnerable through the program and is the work, and that's the value. Like, I don't know. It's just like mind blowing.
Thank you. Awesome. I forgot all about that video. That's a good one. I have the right to take up space on this planet. That one? Yeah. Cool. So let's ask another question of, has anyone had a big breakthrough around charging for their circles, and a breakthrough around money? Has anyone had a breakthrough around that, wants to share?
I have one.
Okay, go for it, Stacey.
Sorry. But, so I did it on donation based only, and I didn't tell anyone until they came. And, you know, like we talk a lot about vulnerability, right? It's circle and everything. And so at the end of the circle, I was just like so nervous. But what I did was, I realized that, like, you know, this is valuable, and everybody found value. And so I had just been very open and authentic and said, okay, so this is really hard for me.
because I have this issue with asking for money, and I didn't tell you before because I have this issue, but I am asking for donations. If you found this circle valuable to, and I even had to have like this container so that they could put it in and cover it, because I just have this like, you know, like this block for some reason, but I did it, and I asked for donations, and everyone gave a donation. And it was like, okay, I don't know what the big deal was. It was just in my head, right? And so just becoming more and more vulnerable and practicing that in circle, and is like a big, I don't know, that's like the key for me.
Yeah.
Like,
you nailed it. Thank you. Thank you, Stacey. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Like, the more vulnerable we are in the program, the more vulnerable we are in circle, like, the more then we can be vulnerable with putting it out there, right, around visibility, asking for money. I mean, it's the key. That's why the program works, I think, because of the actual time that we get to practice that in the circle. Anyone else want to share a money breakthrough? I mean, Larissa kind of shared hers from before around one of your friends gives you $40 and you weren't even asking. I mean, how amazing is that? Anything you want to share about that, or anyone else?
I would like to just play a little bit of a different card here.
Sure.
I have found both my circle very challenging in terms of my own anxiety, not the circle. Circle's going fine, but I wasn't necessarily going fine. And I think I'm hitting a transition point where I'm not anywhere near as concerned about it as I was. And in terms of the money thing, I'm still very blocked on that. But I realize how important it is. And because I realize how important it is, I'm going to, just do it, charge, and just leave it out there. And if people pay, they pay.
Oh, wait, you went on mute. I don't know what happened.
That was my dog.
There we go. Okay.
I had a breakthrough yesterday. I was talking with Tanya about charging, and I realized that everybody I see under 40 has artificial eyelashes. Now, I don't have any eyelashes. So when that started happening, I said, oh, let me see what those artificial eyelashes are like. Well, they're like $200 a pop. And not only are they $200 a pop, but you have to keep going back. Like every 4 to 6 weeks, you have to keep going back for either replenishments or redos. And everybody in my office has these permanent false eyelashes. So I just got a little pissed. I said, if they can do that every month, they can pay me.
Oh, yeah.
12 weeks, the same amount for 12 weeks, So I'm getting over it, but I'm not arrived. I'm nowhere near being over it, but I'm working on it.
Beautiful. And can you share with us why, so you said, I get why we should charge for our circles, and what, if you can narrow that down specifically.
We can't keep blaming the patriarchy for the inequalities in our lives. It is because of the patriarchy that there are inequalities. Who's going to change that? They're not going to change that. It's totally to their advantage. So if we don't change it, and if we don't start charging for the work I've spent a fortune on my circles. A fortune. I haven't even come close to reimbursing my expenses. That's crazy. So that's why I think it is so important. It is because teachers are never going to get paid. Childcare workers are never going to get paid. House cleaners are never going to get paid unless we start charging what we are owed, what we should be getting.
Yeah, what we're valued at. Awesome. Thank you, Alice. That was brilliant. Anyone else want to?
I'd like to say something.
Yeah.
This is Samantha. I had an issue around money charging my friends, because the circles that I'm are still friends and friends of friends, and I was making it about so I have a particular rate as a facilitator, as a coach, and then I thought to charge $20 or something. I felt that I made it about me, that it was too little, and if I wasn't going to charge, if it was going to be so little, I wouldn't charge at all, because, I don't know, there's something in the professional world that, giving it pro bono is better. And then I realized that in a circle that I hosted 5 years ago, a sister told me, she said, it's uncomfortable that I'm not giving anything in return. Because I'm getting so much value that you don't, and I realized they were over, because I got them each to bring snacks one week, and they were bringing like a 3-course dinner. And I'm like, this is circle, why are you bringing dinner? And I asked one sister, and she said, because we're getting value and that we can't even give, it's uncomfortable. And so I realized that the $25 I'm charging now, and I am charging, is not even about me. It's also about giving people the opportunity to show you that they appreciate your circle, because it just never occurred to me and I realize it now, if I think about it, if I get so much from someone and I'm not able to give back, I actually might not go back, because I feel the imbalance is actually so uncomfortable. And so I think that flow, that exchange is necessary. And trust me, I have my own issues around charging and money, but I frame this particular the circles that I'm running, charging $20-25, as about me, but also about the participants.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Thanks, Samantha. It really goes to show that giving is receiving, right? So in us receiving money, we're actually giving the opportunity for others to contribute. So we're actually making more of a difference for people. It's so brilliant. Yeah, we forget that.
No, it's still kind of, new for me.
Yeah, it is.
I get it, yeah.
Yep, because our culture doesn't teach us that. Okay, so someone asked on the thread here, can you talk about what sistership circle means? So if you were to answer that, what would you say? What does sistership circle mean to you?
Safety.
Safety.
I would say for me, it's like connection. That's what circle I think does. And I think online circle and in-person circle, I didn't think that I would get it with the online, but I did. And it was like when you're showing up and you're everything you are and you're there and you're stepping into like really being like, okay, I'm open to receiving this. Like that's what circle did for me, is it was building connections that I didn't think could be built in different ways and that I didn't know how to build. So for me, it's definitely about connection.
Helene, you had something?
Support.
I think learning how to be real and authentic, learning how to be our true selves as women, that's to me what circle's all about.
For me, it's about love and freedom and coming home, not just to myself, but to my femininity, to my sisters, to the world, to Mother Earth, to the divine feminine, and in partnership with the divine masculine. It's sistership circle. It's everything.
It's the new paradigm of leadership in the world. That's for sure. New paradigm of how we interact with one another.
And that's the other thing which I'd like to say to the audience that isn't part of how to lead a circle, that when I first signed up with Tanya, she asked me why I thought I was a leader, and I told her very honestly that I wasn't. And I still stick to that in terms of the male model of leadership. I am not a leader in the male model of leadership, but I am stepping into my leadership as a feminine leader, which is completely different and fits and feels comfortable. So I think I'm almost at the point where I can say publicly that I am a leader, which feels great.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think being a feminine leader is very, very different. And, you are not necessarily partaking in the giving of knowledge, but you're more the holder of space. And I like to think of the image of you're the riverbank and the women are flowing through. And it's amazing that you can just put out some idea, and women just love this opportunity to release things that they hold deep inside their gut and share them with other women. I mean, it was remarkable when I found out that this is what women wanted to do with each other, and just how much they loved it, and how much they would tell me they loved the circle at the end, whether I was asking for money or not, which is another issue. But so yeah, the way of feminine leading. I mean, I was completely anxious and afraid to lead circles. I've never been a leader in my life. And so, like I said, you just put out some, interesting tidbits for them to bite onto, and they go for it, and they love sharing with each other. They love the community.
Beautiful. I love that. All right, a couple questions that we've had is around time commitment. It's a 12-week program, 12-week circle. Did anyone feel a little bit anxious or struggle with the time commitment and have any breakthroughs around that they'd like to share? Stacy?
Okay, so this one was a big one for me because I wasn't even going to sign up because I was like, because of the time difference, and when the time changed, my time didn't change. And so then it fell into my regular work schedule. And so, I was just really apprehensive about it. And Tanya just said, just sign up, and you just never know when the time changes. You never know. The women might want to just, change the time. And I was just like, okay, I don't think so, but okay. And if it didn't work out, that's fine. I'll just, just listen to the recordings. And so, I did that. And when the time came, I remember what Tanya said. And so I was like, oh, okay, I will ask. And so, I asked Charlene, and she had brought it up in circle, and this is a big breakthrough for me because it wasn't just about every woman was willing to change the time. It was about, I felt that I was important. And that was a big thing for me. It was like feeling insignificant in my life. And all these women, 12 women were really willing to change their schedule for me. And that was just a big breakthrough for me. I'm just like emotional right now because I've never had that in my life before.
Wow.
So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Isn't that amazing? I just really want to highlight this because this happened in another circle as well where, we think that we can't make requests, right? Like we're going to be an inconvenience. We're going to be a burden. Does it even matter that we're there? And you had this experience of really getting that you are part of the circle and you matter and that everyone wants you to be there. I mean, that is just a game changer, right? And then on the other side of that, right, like who else was in that circle who got to change the time and felt like so good in being able to make that change to have Stacy be part of it, right? Yeah, we're getting nods from Christine and Morgan. Yeah, so powerful. And so many times I see so many women who just like, oh, I don't matter. You know, I'm just going to go away. But when we lean into the circle, like, we get that, no, the circle, like, we're part of it. And that is the concept of circle. Like, everyone is a spoke on the wheel. And as one spoke breaks, the wheel can't turn, right? So thank you for doing that. I mean, amazing breakthrough. Wow. Anyone else have a time breakthrough around time?
Me.
Yeah. Who's me?
Jess.
Oh, Jess. Yeah. Okay.
For me, the breakthrough is that I had to do it no matter what. And sometimes I had to have my daughter with me because she was sick, and that is part of who I am, a mother. And as mothers, things happen with our children, and that is also powerful, that you can show up with your daughter to circle. And in the circles there were others that also have to have their babies there and mute all the time or turn off the video because the kid was doing something.
Yeah.
And because as mothers, sometimes we feel excluded, like, no, I can't because I have a child. And I can because I have a child. No. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I've also personally been challenged by that, I now have a 7-month-old, and how many calls I've had to show up on with the baby crying or the baby on my boob, and it's brought up a lot of shame and embarrassment, and I think this is a really important piece of that. We really honor mothers for all that mothers go through, and that sometimes, I mean, this is life, right? Like, we got a babe on the boob and we got children crying in the background, and that's life. And that's, you know, like bringing that in versus trying to separate and compartmentalize. And that's been actually a big breakthrough for me in just leading. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, Jess, because that's a big one. And we've had tons of mothers nursing and having to go on mute and all those things during so many of the How to Lead Circle groups. So, yeah, that's a powerful insight there. Anyone struggle with the investment and have a breakthrough around that for yourself? Did anyone just, oh God, I don't want to pay? Or, anything around making the investment for the program?
I can talk about that.
Okay, Helene, yes.
Yes, I didn't think I was worth it, of course. I didn't think that I could spend that amount of money on me. I wasn't worth that. It's okay if it's for the kids or if it's for the house or even for my pets, but not for me. And that was my biggest struggle that I had to really overcome. And it was worth every penny, of course. And I have spent a lot more since, as I have realized that there is the greatest thing I can do for both myself and the people around me is to invest in myself so I can give out even more to others.
Oh, goosebumps. Thank you. Yeah. Anyone feel apprehensive around telling their spouse or their partner about joining? Did anyone have that come up for them?
I'll go on that one.
All right, Morgan.
So I live in a small apartment, so we are, and I have a boyfriend and a dog, and we share space, and it is a space that we have to share. So for me, I was not only apprehensive to talk to him about it because of the fact that I knew I was going to have to request, because I wanted to be able to be 100% present to say hey, is it okay if you don't come in the kitchen for an hour and a half every Wednesday morning? Like, is that okay? Like, that was something I struggled with. And then I also struggled with being like, yeah, so you might think this is a little woo-woo, and we're probably going to meditate and close our eyes and say some things, and you're going to hear me be really vulnerable. And we've been together for almost 5 years, so he knows pretty much every in and out of me. However, I don't talk to my super masculine boyfriend about my sister wounds, you know? So it was like, these were all new things that I knew were going to come up for me. And I would catch myself after probably the first 3 calls. I would go to him and I would say, like, is everything okay? Like, I would like need to like connect, like, or did you hear anything I said? Like, what was that like for you? Was that weird? And he was super supportive and was like, no, that was amazing. Like, I tried not to listen, but I could hear you and you sounded so great and you were so happy. And, you know, I did want to hug you when I could hear you crying, but I was really proud of you. And so I think building that connection from the beginning of like, okay, so this is kind of what's going to happen made me feel good, but I was still, after, it took me about 3 circles to be like, okay, this is cool. I'm going to cry in my kitchen and he's going to sit in the living room and that's totally fine. So yeah, so that was kind of my like apprehension with that, because I live in a small space, but I think that the women in Circle just like made it so fine, and they brought me to a space where I was able to tell him, like, okay, this is what's going on. This is what I want. This is kind of what I need. And I was making requests, because originally my first thought was, oh, I'll just go outside. I'll go out on the patio. I'll go outside. I'll close myself off. And now I lead Circle in my own kitchen with him in the room, and I've got my headphones on and we're leading Circle, you know? So yeah. Anyway, I'm complete on that. But yes, it was definitely a struggle at first, but I think that being in Circle gave me the opportunity and the strength and the confidence to really ask for what I needed from him.
I think one of the most powerful things for us as women is to ask for what we need and to learn how to make those requests. And this is empowerment, right? And creating that partnership with your partner versus accommodating him, right? Like, it's about you standing in your power, and this is what I need and this is what I'm doing. So amazing. Wow. Really, really powerful share. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what other questions do we have? Anyone have a big everyone's had a breakthrough around vulnerability, but did anyone have a big breakthrough around visibility? And specifically visibility in your community, like this was like a coming out, and anything you want to share around that?
I'll talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
This is Larissa, and I have always struggled with just being visible, just kind of putting out there who I am. And initially, when I was trying to get a group of women together for a circle, I went to meetup.com, and like women started responding and joining right away, and that's how I got my first group of women. And I've actually moved out of that town that I was in now. I'm living on an island in Canada, and there's like between 60 and 70 women have joined. And like I put on Meetup that, you know, that I was moving and I would no longer be able to do this circle. And, you know, and so they're reading my write-up, obviously, of what the circle is all about, and they keep joining. So that's a certain kind of visibility, you know. And I still struggle with visibility. And now that I'm in this new location, this is hard because all the women seem so beautiful and hip and together. And, you know, when you look around and you think that everybody's so together, you think, well, why would they want to come and talk about what's going, their personal shame or whatever, the darker side of life. So, it's easy to imagine other people's lives are perfect and ours are not.
Thank you, Larissa. Let's be Larissa for a second. And I want to continue to support you with that in the facilitator tribe for sure. Because it's usually the women who for years, I looked like I had it all together, and I definitely didn't. And I was seeking circle, right? Like, I was that woman who looked like she was strong and doing well, and underneath it all, I was falling apart and just looking for, circle was the answer. So women need this everywhere, yes. So let's get it going there, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think I have one more question. Someone mentioned this. Morgan was talking about the woo-woo. Did anyone feel like so uncomfortable and feel like they were being too woo-woo and have a breakthrough around that? Who's going to like my woo?
I can talk about that again.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I'm taking up so much time. I'm taking so much space, but the woo-woo part actually comes around to the talking about the yonis and the womb wisdom. And that's the part that when my husband is in the house, I don't want to be talking about my womb wisdom. So, I need to grow. And I've been reading like books about, womb wisdom and whatnot. And that's something I still need to get over.
It's the growing edge for all of us as women.
Yeah. There's a sort of a shame about these parts of our bodies. Why are we talking about them so much? It's like.
Okay, well, we're going to have just a few more minutes until we're going to close, and I'm going to share the details if anyone watching would like to join the next program. We've actually only got 4 spots left. Does anyone have anything that's come up that, in addition to what we've already shared, that you feel like has not been mentioned? Anything that hasn't been mentioned that you feel like could really contribute to this conversation? Anyone have any last thoughts?
I would like to say that even if you don't have like the goal to lead circles, the program is still really helpful and really powerful for your own connection with yourself and with other women.
Yeah. And healing the sisterhood wound, just developing your leadership, right? All those pieces, finding your voice, becoming more vulnerable, because it spreads into every area of your life. Yeah, thanks, Jess. Beaming you. It's a great distinction. Any other distinctions?
I'd like to talk, to say a little bit about the commitment and how this program asks for commitment. But one of the things that I got a big aha around commitment is that, first of all, in circle, if I want the women who come to my circle to be committed, I have to be committed. And I have to be committed to them, but I have to be committed to me first. And being committed to me first meant being committed to the program and being committed to my sisters in the program. And it is that commitment and that desire to be able to follow through on that commitment that really pushed me to look at my health issues and start doing something about them so that I wasn't letting my fear of not being able to show up for the women in my circle keep me from showing up for the women in my circle. So this program there is a commitment, but you owe it to yourself to make that commitment to you. And by doing that, then you're going to call to your circles the women who are willing to make the commitments to themselves and to the circle. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yep. Beaming you.
Yeah.
So true. It's all about modeling, right? Like what we model is what then we're going to see. It's a mirror. The women in the community are going to mirror exactly who you're being as a leader. So, Samantha, you got one more?
Yeah, I just was evoked by what Christine just shared. I had a breakthrough. I have a history of if I can't do the program perfectly, like attend every session, watch every video, read every chapter, then I lose interest and I disengage. And somehow the sacredness of the space, the commitment and the vibration of the call, not just the call, but the calling of sisterhood. I said, well, I haven't watched 3 weeks of videos or done the reading, but I'm going to show up anyway. And that's magic because that's not how I normally behave. And so that has had impact in my life. And one thing I want to say, so much impact in my life that may not be a big transformation into the logical mind, but there's so many shifts in my subtle body that show up maybe later and over time. And I wanted to share that piece of just showing up even though it's not perfect. Just keep showing up instead of sitting down, giving up, crossing my hands and exiting, either actually or even emotionally. So that was big for me. And all these subtle things that happen in the course of the program. There's the structure, there's the topic, but there are all these other things that show up and that you get to choose if you want to break through or not. And then the safety and the love and the sisterhood creates the conditions for you to actually have breakthroughs in whatever area of your life, it's calling forth.
Mm.
So,
yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. We could take one last share if anyone's got a last little aha that they'd like to share. Anyone else? Stacy's got her last one. Yes.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that if anybody is considering, the circle, like I've done a lot of other programs and that's a lot of thing too, right? A lot of women do a lot of other programs. Is this program going to work for me? And this and that and that. And the program, I feel like, is more about ourselves. So that's the way the program is set up. So, like, the model of this circle is set up so that we can gain as much as we want to and we put into it. And it's not about really like what is the agenda of the circle. It's about what is our intentions and our own reflections and what we want to get out of the circle. Because no matter what it is and no matter how different every woman's intention is, you get that. Because it's connecting with this sisterhood is actually helps you to connect more with yourself. Everything you want from a circle, from whatever outside you're looking for, is actually what you're looking for on the inside. And that's actually healing that sister wound. That's something that I learned through the circle, right? It's like everything that I wanted or didn't want from connecting with other women was the thing that was already inside of me and that I had learned and been able to actually see it first through being in circle. So I would just say if you're wondering this or that, or is it going to work for me? Is this program going to be for me? It's for every woman to be, because every woman is a leader, no matter where you are, to your children, to other women, if you don't have your friends, your family, to everyone. And this program is meant for like every different kind of woman. Mm-hmm. That's just, yeah.
Boom. Good ending. Thank you, Stacey. Beaming you. It's so true. It's like what we put out, what we put into something, our intentions. That's what we're going to get out, and it's such a hands-on, experiential, embodied program, and I think that's part of it. And I want to add in, there's such a amazing support and accountability from both the leadership, but also the circle itself, the actual structure. So you're being held to actually have those breakthroughs. So as much as you have to like generate yourself, the circle's also helping to generate you. And that's what's so powerful. And I think that's why it works, right? Like that's why so many women are having such success and just getting so much value from it, because of the way that you're being held by the other women and the circle itself. So, beautiful. Thank you, ladies, so much for all of your amazing shares. I just feel like so much wisdom has come through this call. So it's just amazing to hear all of your experiences. You know, I just get all filled up more. So for those of you listening, tuning in, and feeling the call to join us, we've only got 4 spots left in the Monday 4 p.m. Pacific time call. We actually have 3 circles. 2 of them are full. We've only got these 4 spots left, and we keep them capped at 12 women per circle, so that everyone gets an opportunity to lead. You know, we keep it intimate in terms of the sharing. So as soon as those are gone, they're gone. I put the link in the comments. You can go to sistershipcircle.com/how-to-lead-circle with a dash in between, but that's in the comments. And we hope that you'll join us, because it's going to be an amazing program. What's cool about this one is we've got 3 different times. So you'll have your small intimate circle, but then you'll be part of a larger community of 3 different groups. There's going to be 36 women in this round, which I'm really, really excited about. I know. And we're looking at even making the next one even better. So, I mean, there's been some major enhancements. And what's cool, too, about the program is that once you are part of it, you have access to all the materials for life. So don't stress about, oh my God, I have to watch every single video, right? Like, you still have access. This program is not going anywhere. So while there's an urgency, if you're feeling the call, like, join us now versus putting it off and being in that, like, one day, someday, yeah, maybe I'll get to it next time. Like, the time is now. The world needs us as women to lead now. We cannot delay. The climate is like so ripe for this right now. So yes, we will be doing How to Lead Circle again and again and again, but you're here now watching this now because you have that desire. So claim it. Claim your desire. So you'll have access to all the materials for life, and you'll continue to be part of the How to Lead Circle community. You know, we have a Facebook group for all of our grads, all of our participants, to continue to stay connected. So awesome. How long is the circle each week? Someone asked. They are 75 to 90-minute calls each week. And if you miss one, you can listen to the recording for your call. We also have the opportunity, since there's 3 different groups, if you need to jump into one of the other circles, we can make some accommodation for that. So yeah, it's a pretty cool program in that sense. All right. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for tuning in, listening, and hope to see some of your beautiful faces in the next program. And thank you, ladies, for your shares. I'm so grateful for all of you. Yay, big bean.